the bitterness, the pettiness, the smallness of the moment, the incentives to attack one another and try to make differences without distinctions, mountains out of molehills. We have to be bigger. We have to see clearly. We have to speak honestly, and we have to act decisively. That's what I want to do for you as President of the United States. Thank you.
Well, here we are with Beto O'Rourke. Did you think tonight's was an example of Democrats with engagement of a positive way, or was it nasty?
I didn't think it was particularly nasty. I think we got to talk about the issues that matter most to those whom we want to serve. We talked about climate. We talked about guns. We talked about race in America, racism in America, the wars without end that we want to bring to a close. I thought it was a good conversation overall.
Did you think your colleague from Texas, Julian Castro, do you think it was fair to suggest that Joe Biden has lost it?
No.
That wasn't fair.
No, I didn't like that.
Let me ask you about guns. You know, the consensus in the country seems to be good on background checks. You went further. Now, somebody has to go further. In fact, Gene Robinson just said he gives you credit for this. He's on the panel tonight. He says maybe by pushing for mandatory buybacks of assault weapons, which you were very graphic about describing the horror of what they do to the human body. I thought that was very powerful. He says that might move the center of gravity towards maybe something close to. Do you think there's a chance that we could have a Supreme Court ruling after Heller, that said you have an individual right to a gun? Forget about militias and all that stuff in the Constitution. That you could actually have a Supreme Court ruling allowing the government of the United States, the federal government, to demand the selling of assault rifles back to the government. Do you think that's feasible legally?
Yeah, I do. I think the precedent and common sense is pretty clear on this, that none of our rights are absolute, that there are some common sense limitations to them. You can't own a grenade launcher.
Or a bazooka.
Or a bazooka,
tank.
or drive a tank down the street. And I think we now understand that these AR-15s and AK-47s not only have been used as weapons of war in our communities, but as long as they exist in our communities, they are instruments of terror. Our kids are afraid of them. Talk to my fellow residents in El Paso, many of whom feel like they have a target on their back right now. We finished one of these March for Our Lives that these students had organized in El Paso. I had Henry, my 8-year-old, on my shoulders, and we get to San Jacinto Plaza, and there are two guys with an AR-15 each waiting for us there. And my son's like, Dad, what gives? I thought we were just marching against this. And I said, oh, don't pay him any mind. Don't give him any attention. But what I should have said, no, Henry, that's absolutely wrong. No one should be able to come here and try to intimidate you and scare you. And so we got to end that.
2 weeks ago, the New York Times led, it is a very liberal paper, of course, in its editorial page, saying there are too many assault weapons in the hands of the American people right now to get rid of them, to try to stop this with bans on sales. It's hopeless, basically, your view. There's just too many of them.
They're absolutely right.
Right or wrong?
They're right that there are too many of those weapons out there.
They say it's hopeless to stop the traffic.
Oh, no. Now, when we're hopeless, then we're not going to make progress. Then we've given up on our kids.
But just say even stopping the sale of them wouldn't be enough to stop the danger of them, because there's so many in the hands of the bad people.
Well, there's where we agree. I think if you think that AR-15s and AK-47s are inherently dangerous, should not be sold, then you would also have to agree that there are more than 10 million of them out there in the United States, and they are going to be used, some of them, against us. Take our kids, take our families, threaten people in the Walmart or in a church or in a mosque or in a synagogue. And so you've got to take that next logical
You're going to carry on this fight no matter what happens in this.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is a cause for you, Beto.
Yeah. And I'm inspired. Like, a lot of folks talked about the NRA tonight, and they're a big problem. But the NRA is no match for Moms Demand Action or March for Our Lives.
Well, they have been.
Not anymore. No, the power is with people, as my friend Corey will say. The power is with people, and those people are rising up right now. It's powerful. Hope.
Open doors.
That's right.
Very strong support here by this former congressman for buying back the weapons of mass destruction, basically, these AR-15s. And I think it's going to be one hot issue in the papers tomorrow, Brian.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.